The road to British Olympic cycling glory is not paved in gold.
Whoa, Cavendish upended.
It is strewn with rocks.
Another Sunday in hell.
Setbacks.
I've crashed before. I'll crash again, you know.
And pain.
There's no easy days in cycling anymore. It's always a battle against myself.
It's about highs and lows.
Shit.
Damaged skin, ripped muscles, and dented dreams. Led by ambitious mastermind Dave Brailsford.
I hate losing.
In 2012, these British riders achieved a cycling first, winning the Tour de France and, just days later, Olympic gold. In British cycling's most amazing year, this is the inside story of their road of tragedy, survival, and triumph. Mallorca, January 2012. The start of the road on the most ambitious journey in British cycling history. To attempt to win the greatest road race in the world, the Tour de France, and take Olympic gold in the same year. Achieving this double prize for Britain will demand an epic climb from every member of the team.
Every training effort is done alone, which I like in a way because I'm in control of what I'm trying to achieve. Although I'm surrounded by an incredible team of riders, it's a very solitary existence, really.
At the end of the day, it's the team that wins, you know, and it's one person across the line with hands in it, but it's not that person who's won the race. As a team, our job is being successful by winning.
The product that we create is success and winning. And likewise, with an Olympic team, the product is medals. And fourth place means nothing.
Dave Brailsford's formidable reputation as the king of British cycling was forged in Beijing in 2008. 8 Olympic medals launched Britain into the limelight in a sport in which previously we'd barely registered.
Absolutely sensational games in Beijing, which just blew the British public away. So that was real lift-off time.
Now, Dave has set himself an even bigger challenge. Repeat success at London 2012 and a British rider winning the notoriously tough Tour de France. No Briton has ever won the Tour.
You know, winning the Tour would trump anything. It would trump Beijing. It would be, you know, it would be like 1966 if you were English.
One of the things that makes Dave Brailsford get up in the morning is he just loves that kind of stuff, you know. Never been done before. All right, then how do you do it?
With Beijing Gold came a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for Dave to build the greatest road race team ever seen. At its heart, triple Olympic gold medalist Bradley Wiggins. A kind of marathon runner on wheels, Bradley was a serious contender at the 2011 Tour de France until a crash forced him out of the race. He knows just how hard achieving Dave's grand scheme will be.
There's no easy days in cycling anymore. You know, the strongest come to the fore, but there is an element of luck as well with people not crashing in front of you and things like that. So you kind of make your own luck to a degree, but then it's just a shit fight, you know?
The groundwork for this year's challenge, to take the Tour de France and just days later Olympic gold, is put in here on Mallorca's winter roads. It demands blood, sweat and tears from the team and its team principal.
Hard work, in my opinion. You can't go wrong. Most people who are successful in any walk of life, they've grafted. And that resonates with me, I like that. People want to win, and they want to be part of a winning team. And if you've got a winning team and a winning culture, people want to be part of that.
Dave's the sort of guy who takes calculated risks, and he's driven like nobody else I know. And he pushes everybody really hard. I think he upsets people. I think he, but he leads well, because you can't say, oh, what the hell are you doing, or whatever. It's like, this guy works.
You've got to challenge one another, you know. Why can't you do that better? That's not good enough, you know. You know, that rider should be maybe performing better than they are. Why is it? You've got to push everybody. You've got to be right on the edge. Sometimes it falls over and bubbles over. You've got to rein it back in pretty quick and go on again. But if you're not on the edge, and there's not that little undercurrent all the time, I just don't think you're pushing hard enough. You're not going to win. I hate losing. I can't. Oh.
To bolster his team in 2012, alongside Bradley Wiggins, Dave has signed a second biking superstar to his team, world road race champion Mark Cavendish.
Chris, just come in just a little bit tighter, guys, that's it. Okay.
The equivalent of a star football striker, the fastest man on two wheels. A man who shares with Dave the will to win.
You don't want to have a bad year in this jersey, you know, you want to represent it well, so it's given me the motivation to train harder this year, you know.
The thing you've got to realise about Mark Cavendish is that he's got the balls to set himself these massive goals and then tell everybody about them.
So with the Olympics coming up in London, it's a big thing to go and represent a country, you know. It's ambitious, but we can definitely get gold in London on the road race.
That's the annoying thing though. I'd be here, going full gas here.
Yeah.
Then I've got to make the best. Then I have to go full gas on the...
Mark's arrival could be unsettling. His old team was entirely built around him. Here, there will be two star riders, something his long-term coach, Rod Ellingworth, knows could be a challenge.
Mark's never been with a different team, so it's obviously going to be a change. But I think the difference is, you know, because he's been part of Great Britain cycling, and this is pretty much set up as best it can be around that same structure, that it does feel like home for him a bit.
With Mark's arrival, Dave Brailsford's 2012 Dream Team is complete. He has 7 months to finesse his grand plan to make sporting history. Bradley Wiggins is the endurance rider on whose shoulders Dave's Tour de France ambitions rest. After weeks of arduous training to increase his long-haul stamina, March sees Brad's first big test on his road to the Tour, Paris-Nice. For more than 1,100 kilometres, over 8 daily stages, Paris-Nice winds from the French capital to the Mediterranean coast. Physically gruelling, it is one of the strongest indicators in the cycling calendar as to who might win the Tour de France.
It's a hard race, Paris-Nice. If you can win Paris-Nice, you know, you're starting to look at a very complete rider.
There's a lot of doubt in this sport. People doubt themselves. I wonder if I'm going to be good enough tomorrow. I wonder what people think of me, you know. And I think I used to worry a lot about things like that. In the last sort of year and a half, I think as I'm getting older, I've kind of don't really care what people think anymore. I think that's really healthy.
Bradley leads the race as it enters day 8, the final and shortest stage. Dave Brailsford and his team of backroom boys can only watch and wait. A win here would be the first for a Brit in 45 years. Just short of 10 kilometres long, but punishingly steep, the uphill time trial is Bradley's greatest test and all that stands between him and the overall title.
It's good, Bradley. It's good. It's good. Pace it. Allez, 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 allez. Yes. 50 ans moins de 20 secondes. Bradley Wiggins à l'intérieur, ligne droite. 19 minutes 8. Il réalise 19 minutes. Le podium, Bradley Wiggins, vainqueur de la semaine.
bit nerve-wracking. He was 2 seconds down for the stage at the intermediate split, but he paced the race absolutely perfectly, and it feels like a big win, yeah, for sure. So, job done.
Bradley has delivered an outstanding performance.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
It's a good omen in his build-up to the Tour de France, now just 4 months away.
You all right? Happy? Yeah, just relief, you know. Yes. That was a tough way to finish.
Great job riding all week.
For Bradley Wiggins, working to the boss's exacting methods, everything is going to plan. But for new star signing Mark Cavendish, the season gets off to a much bumpier start. Team Sky's latest star signing, Mark Cavendish, is training in Mallorca with his new teammate. The 26-year-old world champion has a specific role in the team. He's the finisher, the super sprinter, who at the end of a ride of 150 to 200 kilometres or more, digs deep for the final dash. At high speed and close quarters, trust between riders is essential and takes time to build up.
Doesn't matter what sport you do, what job you do, if you change teams, you change companies, it's a new start, it's a new environment, new group of people, new ways to do things, and that was always going to be pretty difficult.
The prestigious world champ's rainbow jersey identifies Cavendish as the fastest rider, but also marks him out in a ruthlessly competitive world.
Certainly teams will ride to stop Mark. And it's like having a target on your back. It's so easy to spot him. Everybody knows where he is, and everybody does everything they can to try and stop him from getting to the actual bit of where he can possibly win.
To help him win, Mark needs to bond closely with his teammates.
Tell me another law, just another law.
In America, there's these old laws.
Yeah, like in Alabama.
Isn't there a law that you're not allowed to have a donkey in a smaller apartment than 30 square meters in Manhattan or something? No, seriously.
They're his support riders, crucial to his safety and his speed. They protect him in the pack from other teams and act as his windbreak, conserving his firepower for his final sprint. On the road, the smallest wrong decision can lead to devastating crashes. Riders need to know each other inside out. Mark has one familiar face in his main support rider. Friend and roommate, Austrian Bernie Eisel, has come with him to the team.
You put your life in people's hands. I think technically you have to trust their ability on a bike, and another it's about winning. You have to trust that they're going to give you everything they have. Trust that they're going to do their job as best they can, you know.
You see his emotions and he says he's nervous, so the last thing I should be is to be nervous. I have to just relax him a little bit and say, look, just chill out.
Mark's first big chance to prove himself in his new team is at Tirreno Adriatico, a demanding 7-day race that crosses Italy coast to coast. Over 1,000 kilometres on roads that twist up over mountains, through hilltop villages and down to the sea.
Dieci secondi, 10 secondi. Partito Team Sky Pro Cycling, ecco la medaglia.
From their car, the sports directors communicate tactics to the team by two-way radio.
Bernie, your group is 2 minutes 48 behind the peloton. 2 minutes 48 behind the peloton.
The mountain sections here, almost 500 metres up, are known to be a challenge for sprinter Mark. Before long, he is struggling. Mark's wingman, Bernie, relays bad news to the team's sports director, Servus Knaven.
No, dimmi, tranquillo.
Normally we never give up a race. We start like twice a year.
Yeah, watch out.
This is too much.
Exhausted, Bernie and the world champion drop out of the race. The training regime hasn't built up enough stamina.
They say it's enough, Kev and Bernie. They are really empty.
It is a crushing blow, and one that comes amid rumours that Mark is not finding it easy to fit into the team. Riders do drop out of races, but it's an embarrassment for a current world champion. The next day, Mark has to grit his teeth and face the cycling press when he least feels like it.
For me, it's not about me coming and having a team that rides for me. I want to be part of successful. If you look at it like a football team, our job is just to win as a team. Regardless of how we do that, we have to find the most efficient way to do that. Normally that's with me as the last man, but I just want to be part of something successful, and to be part of this British team, it's a massive appeal to me to be part of that.
For sure, looking back at Mark's training, we hadn't quite hit the specifics that we needed to do, which, you know, I take responsibility for. I think it was, we were relying on the racing to do that.
In his Manchester Nerve Centre, Dave Brailsford holds a management meeting. Mark's dissatisfaction with the way the team is being run is on the agenda.
That, I tell you what, he's so frustrated because he's felt that the team has been so good and he's built it up and he's expected so much and it just didn't come together. There's some good reasons why it hasn't quite come together, and he actually complained about us as a management team more than the actual riders. That was his frustration.
You've got to be careful not to overanalyse it and keep overanalysing it and overanalyzing it. And you've got to just say, okay, well, you know, you've got to be thinking on the solution side and not on the problem side. You can focus so much on the problem. Let's think about, right, okay, what's the way forward?
That's where Mark was, you see, at the end. He just couldn't see anything other than the issues, and he couldn't think of any way out of it.
Morning or night, Dave always puts time in on his bike. It's exercise and therapy, and a time to consider the many and sometimes conflicting needs of his riders.
Isn't it like a hobby or a gang? You know, we're not like, we want to necessarily get on, but professionally, we're obliged to get on and move this team forward. I just want to make sure everybody's supported, and at the end of the day, we come away and said, you know what, we couldn't have done any better, we couldn't have done any more. And that's important. I think if I didn't care, well, I wouldn't be still here at 8 o'clock at night doing this, would I? I'd be at home. Not much a way to live your life. There we go.
Home for Dave is 130 miles away. So for much of the year, he lives in a hotel near his cycling headquarters in Manchester.
So probably 3 nights a week when I'm in Britain. This is my home, really. This is where I come. You come back here, you know, I'll order some food, tomato soup and a sandwich, which I always think I'll have something different, but I always have the same thing. It's a bit of a sad in that respect. I feel like Alan Partridge in many respects, do you know what I mean? I'm 48, I've got a 7-year-old daughter. That's tough insofar as the amount of time I spend away. If you're ahead of something, you carry the can, and anybody who's in that situation knows that there's an element of, I don't think it's loneliness, you know, it's just an element of, like, you know, responsibility, I think.
In his relentless quest to find the best solution for the team, Dave changes the lineup of the team around Mark. For his next big race, Dave's reunited him with old friends, Pete Kenya and Geraint Thomas.
I've been racing with him since we were 12, 13, around parks on, you know, pavements and stuff. So for all of us to be in this team together is surreal.
I grew up with Pete, I grew up with G, and You know, I couldn't hope for a more committed group of people. It's just such a good atmosphere here.
Now we're still racing together, except this, you know, in front of TV cameras and the biggest bike races in the world.
They don't come much bigger than this, the Giro d'Italia, the first grand tour of the season and second only in status to the Tour de France. Despite its name, the 21-day race begins in Denmark. On day 2, Dave's new lineup seems to be working. Mark hits a sweet spot and wins. And on day 3, Mark looks well placed to win again when disaster strikes.
I hit the deck at 75 kilometres an hour.
Instantly you think, God, you know, is that it? Is it over?
You know, we're not wearing leathers, and so it would take a lot of skin off.
Who is that, a guy from...
I was coming from behind and I was actually going fast towards the finish, you know. It's arguable I would have won.
To see your team leader on the floor crashing at that speed, first of all, it's a massive shock. That sort of stuff shouldn't go on in sprint finishes, you know.
The crash was caused by Italian rider Roberto Ferrari, who was relegated to last place in the stage for reckless riding.
It's just frustrating. It's more an emotional pain, you know, when you got the chance of winning and it's taken away from you.
To stay in the race, riders must complete each stage. Despite the pain, Mark picks up his bike and carries it over the finish line.
You see it in contact sports where a boxer takes a real bad barrage and they still get up and still want to fight. And I think there's that same mentality of just wanting to get back up and get going again. And you see it a lot in cycling.
It's one thing putting your own life at risk, but to put other people's lives at risk, you know, we're professionals at the end of the day. We all have families, we all want to have a career out of this, you know, and to put people's lives in it is a little bit frustrating, you know.
As the race moves on to Italy, with 18 days still to go, it's not clear if Mark will be fit enough to continue. Italy, a nation of cyclists. Fanatical, passionate, and loud. World champion Mark Cavendish is a hero here. With a home in Tuscany, the Italians have adopted him as one of their own. But after suffering a high-speed crash, there are fears he might have to pull out of Italy's national race.
He'd lost a lot of skin, and I think what people don't realise is that when you lose that amount of skin, it's very, very hard for the guys to sleep at night. The wounds weep and stick to the sheets, and it's just so uncomfortable. And as your body's trying to heal itself and you're sleep deprived, yeah, that is hard. That is super hard.
With nearly 3,100 kilometres left to race, the resilient world champion is determined to continue, despite his injuries.
Our job is to win. You can't do it if you can't really cope with crashes or can't really cope with pain, you know. And I've crashed before, I'll crash again, you know.
The Italian section of the Giro d'Italia consistently pushes the world's best to their limits. To boost Mark's morale as he prepares to tackle the mountainous course, Dave Brailsford has allowed him some very special visitors.
I became a daddy like 7 weeks ago now with my girlfriend Peter, and I'm sure it's hard for any father to be away from a newborn baby, you know. I was away straight away racing when she was born, but I've been lucky they've come out to the Giro here, Peter and Delilah, and that is so nice, you know.
If we all put ourselves in his situation, he's had a bad crash, and then his baby daughter comes out to watch him, I think we'd all be motivated if that was, you know, in that situation. He's motivated anyway, he's a motivated guy. So it doesn't take a lot more to make him, you know, ultra motivated.
Despite having hit the ground just 3 days earlier at 75 kilometers per hour, Mark overcomes his injuries to sprint to another victory in stage 5, watched by his family.
The emotion you feel after that, to celebrate that with your family, is incredible.
It was really nice. Obviously it was her first trip to a race and he managed to win. He went up on the podium with her and everything.
You see your baby, you see your girlfriend, and kind of puts the whole cycling thing into perspective, you know.
The first time his daughter ever went to a race when he was racing, he won in a Grand Tour, and, you know, credit to him. What a fantastic story.
Mark's Giro d'Italia doesn't end here. The team have survived week 1, but 2 more weeks remain in this brutal race. At stage 9, expectant eyes are on Mark to claim more victories in his quest to win. One of Dave's trusted lieutenants, Rod Ellingworth, who's also Mark's coach, is following Mark with race director Stephen de Jong.
So guys, short stage today, 166 kilometers.
Constant radio contact with the riders refines tactics and motivates the team.
Around 4 hours of focus.
Yeah, it's pretty good, isn't it?
Good.
Dave Beamer's cool.
That's now where the situation is for sure.
Oh yeah.
From the team bus, Dave scrutinises every second of the action.
God, Dave, he loves it, doesn't he?
Be fast on here now.
Use some brain cells, not just horsepower. Tell the guys.
Just tell the other guys, use some brain cells and not only horsepower. Stay with Kev, boys. Stay with Kev.
If somebody crashes in the front now, they beat.
We're getting there, mate.
After 33 kilometres, the riders reach the final bend. Mark is perfectly positioned to sprint over the finish line.
Here we go. This is it now. It's what we've been waiting for.
Whoa, crash!
Mark can't avoid the pileup.
Oh, crash!
He was caught behind.
Cat's here.
Amazingly, he's unhurt.
He'll be a bit pissed off with that.
Sure.
The crash has once again stolen Mark's chance to win the stage.
Right, let's go. Yep.
Dave has seen enough and leaves.
It can get really tiring when Dave's pushing and pushing and he wants to win all the time. And he wants to win everything, and he, you know, but if he didn't, maybe we wouldn't win as much, you know.
By the start of 2012, Dave's relentless ambition has earned Britain 205 medals, produced 33 world champions, and 10 Olympic gold medalists. From BMX riders to mountain bike specialists, track superstars to hardened road racers, Dave's responsibilities are huge for both the Olympic squad and the professional race team.
I'm an orchestra conductor, that's what I am. I don't have a particular skill. I haven't got IT, I'm not the IT guy, the marketing guy, or the this, or the DS, or anything else. I'm just trying to conduct this little orchestra of people that we've chosen to do the job.
Dave's single-minded determination challenges the way everything is done.
We don't want to just fall into the way everybody else has done things over the years. We want to do this differently.
It's this uncompromising approach that in Italy has Rod up at 4 in the morning. Following Mark's recent crashes in the Giro, Dave wants to leave nothing to chance. He's asked Rod to make a video preview of today's route, paying close attention to the final corner.
We'll just go into Montecatini where the stage finishes and then film the final 2Ks, because most of the lads know this run-in. But it is just the final sort of 2 or 3 corners in the last kilometre, really, which is quite key. We need to get it all done and downloaded onto the computer and then sent off before 9:30.
Driving the course the riders will follow later, there's little to do for Rod, who, like Mark, is a new father, but to reflect on the home life he's sacrificing to be here.
You know, you sort of got 3 hours between feeds. Just feels like you're flat out. Like she starts feeding, and then from that start time, it's 3 hours. Before you know it, it's like she's up again. She's up again.
With some 250 kilometres under their belt, they reach the final part of the route, with the all-important final corner.
That's it then, done to finish straight, yeah.
If the riders get that right, Mark should win. The film is edited and streamed to the team bus for the riders to analyse.
Time were they there? 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah.
It's crucial they take the right line on the last corner and at the right speed.
Just try to keep it as smooth as possible, not accelerations. More accelerations.
And a K to go, he can always hold the wheel. Doesn't matter how fast you go.
Good luck, boys. Hopefully we can nail it. Kev is really excited. He's really up for it.
And for good reason. Mark's Italian home is near the finish line. Friends and family will be rooting for him there. Rod's confident this morning's video briefing will pay off.
That all worked pretty well this morning, and we got it sent back in time, and the guys watched it on the bus, so job done, I think. They should stand every chance of getting it right now.
4 hours on, the team approach the crucial final bend.
Easy. I tell you, this is where Cav's like really good at looking at the finish. Like, he remembers things so well. He couldn't have started the climb in a better position, that's for sure. Who's your money on, Claudio?
No. Come on, Ian. Come on, G. Come on, Pete. Come on, Mark.
It's all the British lads, great, isn't it?
Keep waiting.
Right, Andy, take your time.
First in the corner, boys. First in the corner. Good job, boys. Come on.
But the team takes the corner too fast and have to brake suddenly, leaving a pile-up behind them.
Cav's lost G there.
In too high a gear, Mark struggles to regain his speed.
Oh, he's not going to get this, I don't think.
Shit.
Roberto Ferrari, who knocked Mark off his bike 9 days ago, wins the stage.
What happened was that you could see Cav was actually trying to carry more speed, so he was in a gear which was too big. So basically, he was like, instead of being in second gear coming out that corner in his car, he was in fourth gear. So he just was labouring, and you haven't got time to change down gear then, you know, you just got to go, and he just didn't have it in the end to go. So a few lessons learned there, I think. We'll keep building.
As the main lead-out rider, Mark's old friend Pete Kenya takes responsibility for the loss.
The whole stage you're thinking about what you're going to do and how you're going to deliver Cav for the win, and it was like Cav put it after the finish, like having an open goal and pulling it wide because I took the corner too fast and sort of messed up for the guys behind.
For lads, it's disappointing. You know, everybody works for the result, don't they? You know how much they want it and how hard they're trying, but you know, there's only one mistake, isn't it? And that's it, race over.
Near my home in Italy, you know, and a lot of my friends were there. My family was out, and I really, if there was one stage here I wanted to win, it was in Montecatini, and we kind of messed that up, and to rub salt in the wounds, the same guy that crashed me won the stage, so. But that's bike racing, you know, we'll live to fight another day.
With 2,600 kilometres still to go, Brailsford's boys have to shrug off their disappointment if they are to get the race back on track. Italy. The British road race team have ridden over 1,000 miles on the Giro d'Italia's challenging terrain. World champion Mark Cavendish won 2 early stages of the 3-week race, but in recent days, crashes and misjudgments have led to frustration.
The emotion around not achieving what you want, or the real vivid disappointment of having a bad day in a big race, you know, it's hard to shake off. It's like a little grieving process, you know, very, very miniature, but a little grieving process. It takes a few days to just shake it off and come around from it. You know, and I think in that instance, the world can seem like a very dark, bad place, but it's not. It's not sport. You know, carry on. You dust yourself down. You have a look what was wrong. You try and understand it. You take the emotion out of the situation. You look at the facts, adjust yourself, and go again. That's what it's all about.
Team manager Dave Brailsford won't allow disappointment to thwart his overall ambition.
We're saying they're not good.
Although this season his riders have already won 31 stages in 13 different races, in a regular management meeting, he highlights what he sees as a weakness in his team.
The bigger issue for me, and it comes under your last point as well, if we started off with success and you look at the quality of riders is your number one thing. You've got to have the rider capability. Number two, you've got to be able to coach that capability up to a level where it can perform at the highest level. So that's coach stroke conditioning is the next most important thing. The next thing then is tactics. I think it's an area where we can improve.
Tactics, the lads have got all that knowledge.
Whatever the analysis, tactics stroke decision making under pressure.
Yeah, that's the...
To make the team win. It's when the shit goes down, you've got 10 seconds to make a call.
Yeah.
And we repeatedly fail to make the right call.
Back and touch. Yeah, there.
For Bradley Wiggins, plenty of things are going right. Dave's squad fields several teams simultaneously, and Bradley's season has seen a succession of strong wins.
The hair's my business. All right, fair enough.
As poster boy for British cycling, when he's not racing, he's much in demand for personal appearances and fashion shoots. However irritating he finds it.
Today hasn't been too bad, actually. Normally it's a bit despise is the wrong word, but I've sort of become to accept the last couple of years that this is sort of comes with the territory now and the level that the sport is at.
Before a bit of a thinker or some kind. Yeah, a bit like.
In Italy, Mark's team can't afford any further mistakes in the remaining stages of the Giro. With the mountainous peaks of the Dolomites just around the corner, today could be the team's best chance to lead sprinter Mark to a third stage victory. The stage starts in the seaside resort of Savona, but no one's on the beach today. Italians are mad on cycling. Sports director Stephen de Jong talks the team through the 121-kilometre route.
And then just before we hit the town, I think it's important on those 2 climbs, stick with Kev again, like we did the other day.
G, stay with me. If I say anything, then go. Yeah. Good luck.
This is the first climb.
Oh my God. Yeah. The first picture is Saturday. Oh my God.
Each rider must picture every climb, descent and turn. On the bus, message and music combine to motivate the team.
Good luck, lads.
All the things you hate, I find fun. Things you wanna see are just done. I may regret if you're the right one, but I can't avoid the midnight run. I'll keep on going till I find the right one. I'll keep on growing till I find myself a new God. If we're meant to be together, change the way you see the weather, live for now, forget forever. On another midnight.
The race is still in its infancy when Stephen gets a call.
Hi, Dave.
The mastermind behind the team has been described as a control freak.
Very first season, I was like, God, I've got to be there all the time. Which is more about me than it was about the need to be there, to be honest.
Just started here.
And it's got to the point now where I'm feeling a lot more comfortable that the team is performing at a high level.
I think it's just, we have to see what happens with Mark.
We're just maturing as a team, I think.
You want the carrot as well?
As they reach the final kilometre, Mark is well placed.
He's the answer for the time being, and Green Edge.
Kev is in good position.
The South African champion bets in as well. He's just come alongside Mark Cavendish right now. Hunter dead centre of your screen with the white.
Yes! Good job, boys. Good job. Congratulations.
Mark's reputation as the fastest man on two wheels can live another day.
I think he's doing really well. You know, he's had a good start to the season. There's some teething problems, I think it's fair to say, in terms of, you know, getting to know new personnel and new lead-out train. But he's won, and that's the important thing. He's a winner.
I know Dave since I was like 14, and he's one of the best people in the world, I think, at getting a group of people and manage them correctly and have a desire to get perfection, to progress. You know, you need that ambition, and he's definitely brought that to British cycling.
We've got a hell of a long way we want to go, and we've got a lot of learning still to do. But, you know, the riders go through a journey, the staff go through a journey together, and every single time you do a stage race, you get closer and closer, and I think it feels like a team now. We're working together as a team. And I think, you know, if we can do our job well, if the bike riders are fit, morale's good, they're healthy, you know, you can do anything, can't you?
Dave Brailsford is the most successful manager in British cycling history. But turning a fringe sport in Britain into an Olympic gold medal winning machine with ambitions of Tour de France glory has taken hard work, sweat, and determination.
About finding solutions, eliciting them, encouraging them, kicking them, whatever it takes in a positive sense, and then trying to reward people, which I'm not very good at, mine, so that's something I could learn better. I'm not very good at saying thanks, which is pretty shit, really. But I'm not that bothered about people saying thanks to me, and so I think that's maybe a weakness that I should address. So thanks, everybody. There we go.
In this exceptional year for British cycling, Dave drives himself as hard as the riders he manages.
79.3.
I do wonder sometimes, I think, bloody hell, Dave, you know, get yourself home, but you always got to remember he's the boss at the end of the day, and maybe one day he'll be the one who kicks you out the door. I've seen him kick enough people out the door, so you always have that in the back of your mind. Don't get too close. And I think it is pretty ruthless how he does stuff, but you've got to be passionate about the sport, and it's not really a job, it's a lifestyle.
Dave's goal of glory at the Tour de France and the 2012 Olympics is all-consuming.
I've got a lot of meetings, so I always try and make sure I'm prepared for the next day, and a lot of the time that has to be sort of the night before. So tomorrow I've got the Olympic selection panel, which I'll chair. I've got what I call a medal tracker meeting on Monday. On Tuesday I've got a coaching meeting, and then in the afternoon I've got to go to Milan, and then I've got to get back. And then we got Tour of Swiss has started. I've got a meeting with Steve Peters. There's a British Cycling Board meeting and a senior management team meeting. On Sunday, I said I'd ride a sportif. It's like a bit like spinning plates, and you know, see which one's just about to fall off, and I'll go there, try and spin it again. That's kind of how I tend to operate, really. But now it's onto my emails, of which I've got 195 in my inbox to read. So that'll keep me busy for a while. Yeah. I've always been a firm believer that you can win the world's biggest bike race clean.
In his war on drugs, Dave's weapons are science.
This is the chimp in the centre of the brain.
Technology.
We're constantly looking for the best equipment.
And psychology.
It's always a battle against myself, really.
If they don't believe, they ain't going to win.